my first ex-husband. Adrienne, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Haseem. So glad to be here.
Alrighty, so I want to talk about this show, My First
Okay.
Ex-Husband, Joy Behar's show. Can you tell us a little bit about the play and your role in it?
Yeah, so it's as you said, my first ex-husband, and it is a compilation of stories from women who have spoken candidly about their first husbands, their first marriages, and what led to them becoming their ex-husbands. And it's funny, it's raw, it's very um to the point, matter of fact, very poignant. Each of the stories, not only are they remarkable and humorous and a bit heartbreaking and sad, but the resiliency of these women, um, the two stories and the two women that I will portray, what struck me about them was their undying need to want to make it work in spite of all the signs and the red flags and, the things if I was their girlfriend, I'd be like, "Girl, you need to I don't know about him." But they stuck with it until it was just inevitable that, they had to go. And how it empowered them to move forward and how they ended up winning in the end. Is it's and you're like, all this in one in each of these women's stories, and yeah, it's true. And so I'm looking forward to working with Joy Behar, Susie Essman, and Tova Feldshuh, who are in the first cycle of these, stories. They're gonna be running, I think, for a couple of months, but the 4 of us will be in the first cycle until February 23rd.
Dope, dope. I'm also excited. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, me too. This is the first time. I mean, the only thing that kind of is sort of similar to it was years ago when I was living in Atlanta. I participated in Eve Ensler's The Vagina Monologues, and it was, as you know, it's a compilation of stories from women.
Yeah.
Um, on the topic of, their vaginas, but, you think like, "Oh, what is that about?" But when you hear these stories, it's everything from, yeah, sexual experiences to gender mutilation, and it's all empowering, and very eye-opening, and I think this is what that is too. It's all empowering, very eye-opening, like I said, at moments where there's humor, there's also heartbreak. It's so relatable. I think that's what drives the humor in these pieces, quite honestly, is the relatability, that I think a lot of people, whether you've been married before or you've been in a long-term relationship or you just dated somebody for a few weeks and you was like, "Nah, this ain't working." I think a lot of people are gonna find the relatability in these, stories.
Sure. Okay, now help me understand. There's a rotating cast, so
Mhm.
you are not going to be in the show for the duration of however long the production lasts.
Neither myself, Tova, Susie, or Joy, and I think that's what also makes it interesting is because and what adds to the relatability of it is that it could come out of anyone, and you're gonna
Um,
and there's gonna be their interpretation of it. It's gonna be my interpretation of these women in the stories that I will tell, and then someone else will come along and give their
yeah.
interpretation. But I think that's what's interesting about it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be someone else's interpretation, but yet the story is still gonna ring true, and you're still gonna find that humor and that
Mhm.
heartwarming, essence of it.
That's so fascinating and kind of brilliant.
Mhm.
You know,
I know.
yeah, I'm a big fan of theater that's innovative, not just like for the sake of being innovative. You can kind of tell when people are just doing stuff to be special, but when you talk about a universal story, how else to show that it's universal than having a new cast tell the story?
Exactly.
So because a lot of
Exactly.
especially with new plays, there are actors who, like, put their stamp on it, and people feel like, "Oh, I can never see anybody else doing this." And so, although I don't necessarily love that, it's like, "Oh, well, I guess that means your job has, an end date that's maybe closer than usual," but I think it's really cool that they are taking the opportunity to get different voices on top of the
Mhm.
text. Because when I read it was a rotating cast, I was like, "Oh, are they all bringing, like, their own stories, and is that why it's changing?" but
Mm.
but it sounds like no, it's the script is set and they're just having new voices on it.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, and so we'll see, right? And it also, I think, gives the audience a chance to come back if they choose to and hear it from someone else's voice and perspective, and see how it resonates with them.
That's so
You
cool.
know,
That's so cool.
it's almost like, you know, sometimes when you watch a movie over and over again, you watch it the first time and you love it, which obviously brings you back to watching it again and again and again. And then, but with each time, you capture something new and different that you may not have picked up on from the first time. And I would suspect, and I'm interested to see if maybe hearing it from a new voice, you'll hear things that maybe you didn't hear or capture things that you maybe didn't capture the first time when you saw it, with someone else doing it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I really can't wait.
Hey guys, thank you for checking out The Actor's Instrument on YouTube. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a beat. You can follow us at Actors Instrument Podcast on all social media platforms. Till next time, y'all. Peace.